Welcome everyone to the weekly Verbrengen. As today was Tainis Esther, which is a very special day, a day which is a Yom Ratzin Lashem. Every fast day is considered a day where Hashem shows His will, where it's a special day for Hashem to answer tefillas, and specifically Tainis Esther, that's the whole point of the fast, to remind us that even in a time of darkness, Hashem listens to us when we reach out to Him and we ask Him and we beg of Him. So it's an auspicious time now to say L'chaim, when a Chassidische Verbrengen can accomplish, even Malach Michal can't accomplish. L'chaim, and as we always begin, that everyone should have all the brachas, everything they want and everything they need from Aleph till Taf. And specifically the Jews everywhere in the world, wherever they may be, Hashem should show His protection for the Jewish people, and especially in the Holy Land, in Eretz HaKodesh, a place where Eini Hashem Alikecha ba, where Hashem's eyes are upon it constantly, that it should be seen and revealed to the whole world, that Lo Yanum V'Lo Yishon Shomer Yisrael, the guardian of Israel, neither slumbers nor sleeps, that Hashem should give His protection and His strength and His courage and His victory to every single Jew in every way that they may need it. And the main thing is that we should have the complete Geula, where we all go together to Eretz Yisrael, to the third Beis HaMikdash, together with Melech HaMashiach. And a special bracha for Refuah Shalema, for my father-in-law, Ephraim ben Shena, may be healthy and strong. And a bracha for our dear student, Mordechai Dov Ber Kohen ben Chana. He should have a refuah shlema as a kohen. It should come swiftly, the refuah shlema, and for everyone and all that they need, and most importantly for this galus of Mashiach, l'chaim, l'chaim. As usual, we'll start off with a story. It was probably during the time of the Nesias of Tzemach Tzedek, and Chassidim heard a rumor that the Russian government was planning on making a new project. They were making a train tracks, and the train tracks were supposed to go over the city of Hadich and the place where the Alter Rebbe was buried, and they were planning on uprooting and moving the entire Jewish cemetery over there. When Chassidim heard about it, is the Alter Rebbe, Chassidim were shaken. Now they found out, after searching and after making all kinds of questions and checking things out, they found that the Minister of Transportation, under whose auspices this type of project would fall, was not only was Jewish, but he actually had spent time by the Alter Rebbe in Liozna. So Chassidim got together a delegation of some of the elder Chassidim, and they sent to go beg from this minister, to go and beg him to have pity, to have mercy. They got an audience with him, and they came and they spoke to him. They told him what they had heard. And so he said to them, I want to tell you that I've never heard even about this project, but you can rest assured that as long as I'm the Minister of Transportation, such a thing will never happen. However, he said to the Chassidim, since you're here already, and I told you such good news, can I ask you for a favor? They said, sure, anything. He said, look, one of the things that I really miss from my time that I spent among Chassidim is the idea of a Chassidische Verbrengen. He said, I'll get disposable dishes and disposable cups, and I'll get some mashke and some herring and whatever it is, and come and let's have a Verbrengen. And they said, sure. So he sat down, and he was saying L'chaim, and this person began to speak and tell his story. He says, I used to be a student in the yeshiva in Vilna, apparently. And at that time, the Vilna Gaon felt, based on Mamori Chazal, etc., that a true Talmid Chacham has to also be baki, he has to be proficient in all the sciences. So the Vilna Gaon would take the elite, the best Bachrim from yeshiva, and he would send them for a while to study in university, to study all the sciences. Now, what happened is the Vilna Gaon himself was on a very great and high level, and he would have managed such a thing. And he figured these were the best Bachrim, they would also manage to withstand all the temptations. But the guy says, unfortunately, all the people, all the students that went over there to university, they couldn't withstand the temptation in those days in Russia. Unless you were a Christian, you wouldn't be able to get to any high position. And all of them shmadzich. He said, the only one that didn't was me, and I ended up, I went to hang out a bit in Liazna by the Alter Rebbe. Maybe that's worse. He became a chassid. And he said eventually, there started going in my mind, there was all the time these thoughts of kfira, of wanting to be part of the big world. And so he says, I came to the Alter Rebbe, and I complained. I told him, what should I do about this? And the Alter Rebbe said to me, look, I can't help you. But Reb Shlomo Karliner, you can go to Reb Shlomo Karliner and he can help you. He said, I went to Reb Shlomo Karliner and I sat in the chamber for entering into Yechidus. And he says, the entire night, every few minutes people would go in, and every few minutes Reb Shlomo Karliner would come out, the door would open up, and he would come out into the room where everyone was sitting, and he would pace back and forth, and he said, Junge Mann, Efshar ifar da Neibishter Welt. Young man, maybe there really is a Neibishter in the world. And he says, and that's the way it went up and down the entire night. And he says, I came, and eventually my Yitzhahara overcame me. I had a high potential, and sure enough, I became a minister in the government. But for that, I had to shmadzich. He says, but no matter what happened to me in life, when I went through all the things, I could never enjoy life properly. I could never enjoy all the great desires of the physical world, because whenever I would be doing something, that call, that shout of Reb Shlomo Karliner would go in my mind, Junger man, Efshar Efarta Neibishter Welt. And this was the story. Chassidim later said that why did the Alter Rebbe have to send him to Reb Shlomo Karliner? The Alter Rebbe, if the person needed to hear, maybe there's an Eibishter in the world, why couldn't the Alter Rebbe say it to him himself? And what Chassidim said was that the Alter Rebbe isn't about saying maybe. The Alter Rebbe's mission, the Alter Rebbe's path in the world with Chassidus Chabad is to make a person know for sure there's an Eibishter. For this person, he needed to hear maybe, but for that he had to hear it from Reb Shlomo Karliner. What's the idea of this? This week is Parshas Zachor. Zachor is asher asu lecha Amalek. We all know what Amalek is. Unfortunately, in our time, we've all met and we've all heard Amalek, the Amalek that wants lahashmid, larig, ulabit, chas v'shalom, to destroy every single Jew, regardless of who they are, regardless of where they are. This same Amalek that wants to destroy the essence of a Jew also comes, Amalek is the numerical value of Safek. He comes to make a person have doubts. Doubts in his Yiddishkeit, doubts in himself. Amalek brings self-doubt that makes a person doubt, am I really connected to the Eibishter? Am I really there? Perhaps I can't get there. Perhaps my actions have cut me off, chas v'shalom, from who I should be, and I'm never going to be able to reconnect. The Rebbe said in a Sikha, it was Tafshin Yud, Parsha Zachar, and the Rebbe said the following right after the Stalkus, the passing of the Frierdiker Rebbe. The Rebbe hadn't officially accepted the leadership yet. And the Rebbe said the following: anyone that knew the Rebbe, meaning the Frierdiker Rebbe, but meaning the Rebbe, every Rebbe, knows clearly that it's impossible to fathom that he would leave his Chassidim alone on Shabbos Parsha Zachar to fight Amalek on their own. The Rebbe gives us the power to fight Amalek. When Moshe Rabbeinu told Yeshua how to fight Amalek, he said, Bechar lanu anashim, choose people for us. And in Chassidus it says that means Anshi Moshe, the people of Moshe, because a person of Moshe who's connected to Moshe Rabbeinu, to the Moshe of the generation, he has the power to fight Amalek. The fighting of Amalek is in various different ways. Reishis goyim Amalek v'achrisa yadei oived. There's a beginning of Amalek, and there's an end of Amalek. Similar to what it says in Chassidus, v'sus asher rachav alav hamelech, the horse. Sus is gematria gas, twice. Gas means haughtiness, ego. Amalek has two types of ego. Ego is the total, complete opposite of godliness. Ein ani v'hu yechaylim lador. Where a person has haughtiness and ego, they can't be in the same place as Hashem. Hashem rests his presence where someone allows him in. Famous line from the Kotzker, where's the Eibishter where you let him in? Hashem is everywhere, but where a person feels I exist, he feels self-ego, there he doesn't allow the Eibishter in. But there's two types of ego. There's an ego which has reason, which has explanation, which makes some type of sense. And then there's a haughtiness, there's pride, which doesn't make sense at all. And that's just the two types of pride. Because there's two types of ways that a person can go fight. There's the Amalek that says, Suffolk, he makes a person doubt. Why? The Amalek comes and once the person tells the person, you want to do what you want. You want to enjoy life. You want to enjoy this world. So the only way to do it is if you start casting doubt and saying, well, I have questions about Hashem. I have doubts. So maybe it's not there, so let me try and just do what I can to enjoy the world. I have self-doubt. Am I really connected or not? That's one Amalek. And that Amalek, sometimes you have to fight him by saying, well, maybe not. Maybe there is an Eibishter in the world. How can you be so sure and just do everything? But then there's a second idea, which is Amalek, which is not even about doubt. He comes to fight the whole essence of what a Jew is. This Amalek wants to destroy the essence of a Jew. And the way that a Jew fights it is it comes Moshe Rabbeinu. It comes the Rabbeim in every generation who connect us by making us feel our essential connection with Hashem, which is there no matter what. And this essential connection is a connection that comes and that's there. That's the Achrisoi. That's the end. That's the essence. That Adei Oived. We have to destroy Amalek. Destroy that which is coming in the way, which is trying to come between us and our true destiny, our true entity of who we really are. That fight, that war against Amalek is what the Alter Rebbe brings. He brings out who the essence, who we are. Who a Jew is, who a person is. What's my connection to Atzmos U'Mahus, the essence of Hashem? Because in godliness, there's also the two aspects. There's godliness which is based on understanding, limited, how much I can understand, grasp, feel. And then there's godliness, which is an essential connection. To understand that, there's an amazing thing. Today was, as we said, Tainis Esther. Esther is the one that came and brought about the miracle of Purim. How did she bring it? Mordechai came to Esther and said, go to the king. Esther said, what do you mean? I haven't been called for the last 30 days. I'm in the state of disfavor. 30 days the king hasn't called me. And then Esther said, after Mordechai's demands, the Rebbe of that time told her, come anyway to the king. And she said, ובכן, המלך השולח הדס, I'm going to come to the king even if it doesn't make any sense. The Arizal writes that there's 3 ובכens that we say Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur by davening. ובכן, ten kavod Hashem lamecha, ובכן tzadikim yiru v'yismachu. ובכן is gematria chazdoi. The numerical value of the word ובכן is chazdoi, his kindness. There are 3 manners in which a person draws down kindness of Hashem, draws godliness down into his soul, into the world. Why are there 3? They correspond to Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And yet in Chassidus it says there's a 4th ובכן. And that 4th ובכן corresponds to ובכן Avei el HaMelech asher lo chadas. What does that mean? In the natural way, there's 3 ways that a person can connect to Hashem. One person does it through chesed, through kindness, through a positive drawing down of godliness, through a positive mitzvahs, the positive things that he does in the world. The other one does it through gvura, through staying away from bad, from evil. And the third one does it through Tiferes, Yaakov, through his yearning for connection and feeling how far away he is. That's all limited. Because when you come then, you only reach according to the amount that you were able to based on what you did. But there's a 4th ובכן. When for 30 days I wasn't called to the king, Esther meaning the Jewish soul, I wasn't called to the king of the world. I'm disconnected seemingly. I've disconnected myself. I'm not anymore there. And yet we say no, then it's ובכן Avei el HaMelech asher lo chadas. That even when it's lo chadas, when it doesn't make sense to come, my essence is connected and therefore I'm going to be there. And then the Rebbe says, when I come in the limited way, then I only get a limited amount. But when I come lo chadas, I get things that a person can't even dream of. I can get even the king's royal crown. Something which Hashem says, K'vaydi la'acher lo yaten. No one can get the essence of godliness. This idea is ובכן Avei el HaMelech asher lo chadas. The connection that we have regardless, no matter what. That's something which comes all the time to a Jew. Sometimes you can have a person. You know, we're coming to Zachar. There's 2 Zachars. There's Zachar es asher asa lecha Amalek and Zachar es yom HaShabbos lekadshay. Shabbos is where the essence of a Jew is brought out. Shabbos is there where we keep it because this is what it means to be a Jew. Shabbos is what Jews held strong all the time, but there was always nisyonos, there was always tests on Shabbos. When a Jew came to America, when Jews came to South Africa or to Australia, or to wherever Jews came, there were the tests that you would not even be able to put food on the table if you keep Shabbos. There was always things that tried to come between us and Shabbos. Today in our time also, there's things that come between us and Shabbos. I need to be able to check my messages on my cell phone. I need to be able to check the TikToks. I need to listen to music, whatever it may be. I need to smoke a cigarette. And seemingly a person thinks if I fell, I'm away, I'm cut off, it's over. And we say no, even when it's loicha das, the connection is there because it's an essential connection. When I want to fight Amalek, the Amalek that wants to destroy the essence of a Jew, the way I do it is like we say in this week's Parsha, Adam ki yakriv mikem. Give over something of myself. Give over something that's hard. It's hard to recognize that, yes, I'm still connected. It's hard to recognize that despite whatever may have happened, I'm going to try extra to make Shabbos holy, to bring out my connection to Hashem. But that connection is there, and when it comes Shabbos Parshas Zachar, the Rebbe doesn't leave me alone. The Rebbe gives me that power that regardless of where I was and where I am, loicha das, I can connect. And with that connection, we know that the Shabbos brings Geula. We know that getting rid of Amalek brings Geula. We'll have the complete and ultimate Geula. The revelation of Mashiach will bring us all together to Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi and show, as I heard from the Rebbe said once, that when Mashiach comes, he will thank every Jew for everything they did during the time of Golus, even if it wasn't complete. No matter where I was, no matter what I did, the fact that I did this extra little thing, which was hard for me, Mashiach will come and give me a big smile and say, thank you for working for this carbon that you brought, for this extra connection that you brought. Good Shabbos and a Freilichen Purim.